Hey everybody. Just going to do a quick update now for a run-through I did, almost a year ago, I think, for Burgle Brothers. Back when it was on Kickstarter, I had a really rough and ready prototype, probably one of the most basic, unevocative prototypes I've ever seen. And now that I've got the full commercial copy in my hand, I figure, what the heck? Let's go on ahead and show you what the final product looks like. Now, I'm not going to be doing any more gameplay run-through today. This is just a follow-up. If you want to know what the gameplay's like, you can go check out the original run-through. It may not be pretty, but the gameplay itself hasn't changed. Today, I'm just going to be talking about all the cool components you get in the final version. Of course, as you might imagine, lots of colorful chits. And interestingly, here's all the different character meeples, and so just kind of these weird abstract shapes. That is because there are stickers for each and every one of them that basically you put on them to indicate, like, so you got like this real leany guy here, he's kind of leaning to the left. That's because he sticks on this thing. So all the stickers are perfectly cut to fit all these different characters. But now, when you're getting the game out and you're stickering up your characters the first time, you have an interesting choice to make, because the game comes with not one but two sheets of stickers. You can choose whether all your characters, like this guy, are going to be wearing street clothes, or whether they are going to be wearing cat burglar outfits. And, you've only got one character, so you got to decide which way is he going to dress. Now, you could go to say, hey, I'll put street clothes on one side and cat burglar on the other. So every time you play, you can have him face one way or the other. Or you can, what we figured we'd do, and I think probably what most people are going to do is, basically, you can decide, hey, I think for this guy, I like that look better than his street clothes. But for this guy, I like his street clothes look. As you can see, I chose the street clothes instead of the cat burglar. So that's an interesting little thing, that you have a fair bit of customization. You literally have permanent customization options you can make. And it's a tough choice, and everybody will have to choose for themselves how they want to sticker these characters up. And of course, there's all the cards, and there's a bunch of characters. And now the interesting thing is, I don't think this was the case with my original prototype. The characters all have two different versions: the normal and the expert version, the advanced version. And these skills in some are radically different. So you've really got tons and tons of characters to choose from, because they're all two-sided. And so every time you play, you're going to get a different combination of a different team of cat burglars who are going in. And of course, there's the events, the tools, the things, and the loot you're here to get, and of course the guards. The guards themselves look pretty neat. They're these cool little meeples. You got these nice translucent dice to play with. And when you set up the board, if I recall correctly, I was playing with popsicle sticks to represent walls. Now you've got these nice little wooden walls to create, these sticks to create the walls between tiles. Now, the only thing I haven't shown you so far is the tiles. Of course, they look great too. They're nice and thick. This is the unexplored side. Here's an explored side. And you set the game up pretty much like I showed you in the main run-through. But here's an extra little bit of something that if you backed it on Kickstarter, you had the opportunity to get at one of the higher Kickstarter levels: the 3D tower. And this is really cool. This really this ups the ante for the atmospheric nature of the game, because now, instead of having the 3 floors, or 2 floors if you're playing the basic game, just put side by side, it's literally vertical. As you work your way up the skyscraper, you get higher and higher and higher until you're eventually up here, and then you're trying to escape to the roof. And the rules haven't changed, but this is really, really cool. One, it kind of helps just at a glance give you a better idea of the relationship, because there's like rooms where, hey, if this was the atrium? I forget, or the walkway, I can see that if I come here and I fall down, here's where I'm going to have to fall down to. You don't have to think about it laterally. You can think about things vertically. Here's the stairs from the first floor. They connect to this room on the second floor. And there's just something to be said for, feeling like you're climbing higher and higher and higher. Now, one thing that is interesting about playing with this high-rise is, on the first couple of levels, you can just be sitting at the table playing. Okay, somebody's on the first floor. Here's this guy. He's we found the safe, so he's still trying to work on cracking the code and whatnot. The Hawk character up here, she's already gone on the second floor, and she's starting to explore. And so there's a guy up here. If you are playing with this, when you eventually somebody makes it up to the third floor, and you're dealing with the guard up here, This is so high that you have to literally stand up. So once somebody's made to the 3rd floor, they're not sitting down anymore. They are up here on the 3rd floor and, trying to stay ahead of this card. Now, for some people, that might be a problem because, hey, you know what? I don't want to have to stand up for the last 15 or 20 minutes of the game because I'm working the top floor while somebody else is still on the 2nd floor, and there's somebody else who's still stuck on the 1st floor and is trying to get through a keypad to be able to get to the 2nd floor. So some of the players might be down here, but the first player up here, they're going to be standing for the last 30, 25% of the game. Now, me and Jen, we actually think it's really cool because when you're on this floor, this is the floor where the guard is moving the fastest and you're in the most danger. So having to stand up physically gets you more involved with the action and I think actually enhances the overall experience. But you got to bear in mind, while this is a really, really cool thematic idea, for some people, they won't want to have to stand up for the last, the third of the game. Now, of course, you could be setting this up on, say, a coffee table and sit around with regular dining room tables and a coffee table. Then everybody be able to sit the whole time and you just kind of reach down low to get down to the lower floor. But still, I mean, this is really cool and it very much enhances the overall experience. Now, unfortunately, this original, and it's made out of particle wood, this original skyscraper thing was something that was available only to backers of the game on Kickstarter. So Tim Fowers, the publisher designer of the game, he is not actually making this available anymore, but if you like this idea, fear not. When you go to the Burgle Brothers website, because maybe you want to order the game, which is burglebros.com, I think, there's a link that will send you to Etsy because there are craftspeople on Etsy who are fans of the game and have stepped up and made new versions of the tower. That, one which is kind of basically the same thing as this, and then there's another one that's a deluxe version that actually has like an extra floor where the helicopter is, and instead of keeping all the guards cards down here, there's extra space to put the guard cards on the different floors. So even if you missed out on the original blue skyscraper that was available to Kickstarter backers, you can still, if you're a big fan of Burgle Brothers, get a skyscraper like this. And I just got to say again, it really enhances the overall experience. And there's one more thing that came that I didn't talk about in the original run-through I did for this. There were a couple of little extra bonuses. There's these lost visual cards that are awesome. The way they work is one of them goes in each of the guard decks. Of course, they get shuffled in. You don't know where they are. And on a turn when, hey, it's time for the guard to move, so he makes it over here, and now where's he going to go? And, because he's hit B3, well, dun dun dun, lost visual. He comes off the board. And now nobody knows where he is. So that's great. We don't have to worry about him for a while. But, let's see, as it says, the next turn that he would move, draw a new location and destination. So we've lost track of him, and then somebody does their turn, and then when he shows up, bum, 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 he's now, suddenly, he ended up in B1. And now he's heading to D4. So that can really mix things up. I really, really like it. It's a nice, simple little addition, but it really is very, very cool. It adds a lot more surprises and uncertainty. Sometimes, it actually works out in your favor because he disappears, you don't know where he is, and then when he comes back, hey, you've dodged a bullet. Other times, he might come back and be right on top of you when you lose visual. Then there's another little mini expansion that comes in. There's these plus and these triangle symbols, and you can see they're on several of the cards as well. It introduces an expert version of the game where instead of playing on 3 floors that are 4x4, you play on 2 floors that are 5x5. They're even bigger, which makes finding a combination for the safe much, much tougher. And that's where these cards come in because if all the cards represent a 4x4, but in this case you can see this card also optionally represents a 5x5 because the guard could be trying to get to this space on the board. So that adds a little bit more to the game as well. And that, folks, is basically what you get with the final retail version of Burgle Brothers. Hold on. Actually, wait a minute. We're not done yet. I forgot one more thing to talk about the final commercial game is coming. I believe I mentioned this in the original run-through, although it wasn't up and running at the time. Tim Fowers, the designer of the game, in addition to producing the game and all the pieces and all that, there's a special website available. And it's in the instruction manual. You can find the URL to it. But it's basically a page devoted to generating random map layouts. And you can see, I come back over here and zoom in a little bit. Hey, I'm playing the bank job standard, but there's the intro where it's only 2 floors, and Fort Knox, the expert, which I was just talking about, the 5x5. But let's just stick with the standard. And I can generate automatic floors. So, instead of instead of just going with the same one that's in the rule book every single time, you can make new ones. You can just say, hey, you can make out, let's see, hide the map, generate all floors. You can really, every time you play, get a completely different layout. And this is a really cool thing too. Once you've got a particular layout you like and you're going to set this up, you can turn on the heat map. And this shows you the most dangerous rooms. Like on this first floor, this is the room that you're most likely to be caught in. The guard, based on how he can potentially travel around the board, this is the place he is most likely to hit. He's least likely to hit these cool blue areas. Like so on this second floor, there's no one place he's most likely to get. But, see if I can get, so now this is a very dangerous place because of the way the walls show up. So that's just a really, really cool feature as well. This neat little website. Disco lights, yay! And so every time you play, you can get a different map layout. And if you need a little bit of extra strategy, you don't need to get that hint, or you can turn on the hints so that as a group, that is a dangerous room. And hey, there's not that much in the way of dangerous rooms on this floor. Let's increase it till we have there's a dangerous room on that floor. So that was actually a really, really cool little feature that I very much liked as well, in addition to everything else that Burgle Brothers offers. And now, folks, that's it. Once again, thanks for watching. Talk to you later. So long. Bye-bye.